Good afternoon and welcome to Yorkshire Voice on Monday the 25th of March. I'm Xiao Xie. Coming up on today's show, how art and culture are being used to build a community of survivors of childhood sexual abuse. We see how 250 years of Yorkshire's heritage waterways are being celebrated, and making Holi, the Hindu festival of colors. Survivors of child sexual abuse are coming together to create safe, creative spaces to help one another. They have been running a week of events in a pop-up culture space at East Street Arts in Leeds. Our reporter Jen Gregory went along to find out more.
Upfront survivors are child sexual abuse survivor artists and activists who, with frontline sexual violence services and researchers, are aiming to lead change by increasing visibility and building community.
The reason it's important to bring survivors of child sexual abuse together is because so many survivors, despite the devastating statistics that say there's an average of 1 in 6 adults in the UK are survivors of child sexual abuse, most survivors have never knowingly met another survivor. And in addition to that, if they have met other survivors, quite often it's been in therapy spaces or in peer support groups, which isn't the same as having a cultural community where you can come together and hang out and be, with knowing that context and that support for each other and what we need to feel safe around each other, but without having to unpack things like you would in a therapy space. This week we have been doing a pop-up cultural space, which is all about our community having spaces to come together, to hang out, to have a cultural and creative space to spread out in for a week, and just to see how that feels, because that hasn't existed yet for the child sexual abuse survivor community. That's the thing that I notice most in this space, is a sort of breathing out and spreading out of the wholeness of ourselves. And actually that's both beautiful and quite uncomfortable, because we know that leaving this space, we might not have that feeling again for a while. So it is both incredibly powerful and beautiful and brilliant, and also quite scary. And it can be all those things at once. And I think that really reflects what it feels to be like a survivor.
The organisers plan to run further events in Leeds, and also hope that this week will inspire and support other survivors of sexual violence to run their own events.
Powerful artwork featured there by artist Imogen Harvey-Lewis. People across the region are still digesting the news that the Princess of Wales is undergoing treatment for cancer. Catherine put out a personal video message on Friday. Here is a reminder of that.
In January, I underwent major abdominal surgery in London, and at the time, it was thought that my condition was non-cancerous. The surgery was successful. However, tests after the operation found cancer had been present. For everyone facing this disease, in whatever form, please do not lose faith or hope. You are not alone.
I'm now joined by Jason Pollock from the West Yorkshire and Harrogate Cancer Alliance. Hi Jason, thank you for joining us on West Yorkshire Voice. So what's your reaction to the Princess of Wales cancer diagnosis?
So I think that the Princess of Wales has been tremendously brave and courageous in the news that she's given last week, and it reminded me of the other families across Leeds and the wider West Yorkshire region who understand how difficult it can be to talk about cancer and to have these very difficult conversations about how you speak to families and loved ones. And I think ultimately that she shares the sympathy of everyone who heard that message, including ourselves at the Cancer Alliance.
And how significant is it that the Princess of Wales and the King have been so open about sharing their diagnosis?
It's tremendously important that people in public life, such as the King and the Princess of Wales, feel able to have these conversations about cancer, because it's something we really must talk about. Ultimately, 1 in 2 of us will have a cancer diagnosis at some stage in our lifetimes, so it must be a topic that we feel able and comfortable to talk about.
And what did you think of when Catherine said that those living with cancer are not alone?
I wholeheartedly agree with her, because I think it's very important for anyone affected by a cancer diagnosis to know they're not alone, and to know they're part of a community of people across the system who ultimately are looking after a difficult time in their lives.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, it's been 4 years since we heard the chilling announcement from Prime Minister Boris Johnson announcing the start of lockdown.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
The COVID-19 lockdown changed everyone's life. Schools began remote learning. Banana bread was being baked everywhere. Weekly clapping for the NHS. Haircuts at home and not seeing loved ones. It's 4 years since that the first lockdown, and here at Yorkshire Voice, we have been reflecting on memories of it and how it made you feel.
Kind of missed out on all my GCSEs, my A-levels, my first exams, and that kind of had a big effect.
Yeah, I didn't do my A-levels, and so I didn't have to do any formal exams. And then when the results came out, it kind of felt like I got cheated out of it, you know?
At first it was fun, but then it was like really stressful because I was in high school at the time, and it was like not being able to see friends, not being able to like see most of my family, and it was really stressful, to be honest.
I mean, it was fun for a bit because we didn't have to go to school, but then it kind of just got boring and repetitive.
Well, my husband wasn't too well then, and so I quite enjoyed being locked away with him, you know, looking after him and that, and I didn't mind it at all.
Well, actually I was at work, I work at Nando's, and it was like 6 p.m. I think on a Sunday, and I made one meal, and then my managers came in and said we need to shut everything down and we're going home.
It was soul destroying.
The 250th anniversary of Bingley's historic locks was celebrated over the weekend. The 5 rise locks transformed the Leeds-Liverpool Canal. It meant goods could be transported not only to Hull, but all the way across the Pennines to the west coast. Thousands of people turned out for a packed day of activities. We went along too.
So Bingley 5 Rise is one of the 7 wonders of the waterways, so it's a really important local landmark, and it's also of national significance. When Bingley 5 Rise and Bingley 3 Rise opened for the at the same time, it was met with a crowd of 30,000 spectators. There was bands, there was choirs, there was guns going off. It was a big celebration, but they quite liked the big celebrations. Every time a new section of the Leeds-Liverpool Canal was opened up, they used to have a big party. Everyone used to come out in force to witness it because it was a big, big deal.
What we as Bingley generally think we're a hidden gem. Not so many people know about us, and this is, you know, it's a great well-listed structure. There's not many of them in the UK. It is an absolutely fantastic bit of engineering. The fact that they could build this 250 years ago astounds me.
Creating and conjuring green and blue spaces, black taxi voyages, Brummie Canal Serenade, Riverside Festivals, and Shakespeare on the waters.
There's somewhere that you can take some time to take a leisurely stroll, a leisurely cycle ride, enjoy the water. You know, it's that green-blue ribbons that are connecting all our towns and cities. So I think on a day like today, when you see an event like this, it really speaks for itself why our canals are so important.
Why are you here today?
I'm here because I got Bradford ice cream.
You got promised ice cream?
Yeah.
What have you come to this event today?
We come for a little walk down by the canal. We could have a walk about Fairford and look at all the boats and stuff.
Coming out to show support for what is England's heritage.
Time now for a look at this weekend's sporting action. Here is Rowan.
Thank you. Now, as we reported on Friday, there was a huge turnout for a walk to raise money for motor neurons disease. Ex-football players and their families walked from Valley Parade in Bradford on Friday morning via Leeds United and all the way to Liverpool last night. Over £40,000 has been raised. What a great result for charity. In big news for sports, the Sheffield Steelers were crowned Elite League champions this weekend after defeating Guildford Flames 7-3. It was the ice hockey side's first league title since 2016. They've now automatically qualified for the Champions Hockey League. The bad run of form continues for Bradford City as Harrogate Town beat them 3-0. The Bantams have now lost 4 games in a row, with 3 of them coming at home. Elsewhere, Doncaster further extend their gap from the relegation spots with a 2-0 victory over Forest Green Rovers. In Rugby League news, Hull KR thumped Salford Red Devils 40-0. Betfred Championship side Sheffield Eagles lost to Super League side Wigan Warriors, and Huddersfield Giants demolished Hull FC in a big fashion as they won 50-6. And finally, Leeds Rhinos lost to St Helens 20-6. They will be hoping to get back to winning ways when they travel to Castleford on Thursday. And that's the sports news.
Thanks, Rowan. Now today, Hindus all over the world are celebrating Holi, the spring festival of color. At the weekend, people traveling to Hunslet in Leeds for an event that brings a wide variety of communities together to cover each other in color. Tanita Sims reports.
There are few festivals in the world as vibrant as the Hindu Spring Festival of Holi. 3,000 plus people travel from across the UK to the Leeds Holi Festival. People throw coloured powder at each other to symbolise love, peace and happiness. The event celebrates the eternal love of Radha and Krishna and the end of winter and blossoming of spring.
Happy Holi, and this event is all about bringing cultures together, and I hope I'm doing some part in that. But yeah, really looking forward to taking this into the next step for next year, which is 7,000 people.
The event is all about colours, music and bringing different cultures together. People from Asia, Africa and Europe come together and get covered in colour. Red symbolises power, orange for purity, green for love and new beginnings, and blue is the colour of Lord Krishna. Everybody looks exactly the same regardless of their religion and background. This keeps everybody focused on the party atmosphere and enjoying each other's company with great music.
So I'm a DJ myself, DJ Ellie Rock, and I played on the first stage. I opened up, so I played Bhangra, Doll, Hip Hop, R&B, you name it, everything in between, and basically was responsible for taking energy up. So when the Doll players came and other people came, then the energy was nice.
The event is amazing. I would have never expected coming abroad and celebrating this and carrying out the festivities over here. So it's lovely to see all of the people celebrating. I've been coming here for this is the 3rd year now. Absolutely enjoy it. It's amazing. The music is great. All the DJs are amazing.
Now you wouldn't know it, but according to the Woodland Trust, spring is coming earlier and earlier. The charity says
what we're
it's
saying
all
this
due
year is
to
that
the
because we've
really high temperatures that we have been experiencing.
And what we're saying this year is that because we've had a very warm February, it's been record-breaking. It's the warmest February for England. Some of our earliest signs of spring, those that are affected by January and February temperatures, are particularly early this year. One in particular is the first leaves on the elder tree. So different trees in the UK have their leaves at slightly different times. So oak trees, ash trees and beech trees, they're all a bit later on in the year. But elder and hawthorn in particular have their leaves, they're one of the earliest to have their leaves in the spring. And because of that warm February weather, we're seeing them even earlier than usual. So that's what's particularly unusual this spring.
But for a full look at the weather forecast, here is Mark McQueen.
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's weather. In brief, I'm Mark McEwen. Today we can expect a high of 9 degrees Celsius with a low of 2 degrees Celsius. Of course, that will feel a little bit cooler with the wind chill. We also are expecting some precipitation, which will be coming in this afternoon till tonight. Back to you, Xiao, in the studio. Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. And that's all we have for you today. We will be back again tomorrow at 4 o'clock. To stay up to date with Yorkshire Voice, make sure you follow us on social media pages. Thanks for watching.